Holla ballers, what's going on? It's Preacher, and you are being joined by one fappable bastard, Mr. Ghost.
It's me, mate. I'm alright, pal.
You good? We've been spending some time on that old PTR.
Quick mooch around, mate.
Yeah, 7.2 is going to be enormous. We're going to have to cover lots of little pieces of information. So what we're going to do is, like normal, is like consolidate lots of stuff into one video, and hopefully that should ease some tension. So we've had some clarifications on things and some dates of when more stuff is coming. So I think we'll hit the big one first, which is the brand new zone. Isle of Keldanas style is
Looks
how they're
awesome,
going.
mate.
Doesn't it look good? It's like a Netherstorm.
I was just going to say, mate, a bit of Netherstorm.
Fell Netherstorm. Fell Netherstorm. I gotta say,
Fellstorm.
the best thing that I saw down there is the robots that are being built with the souls.
Oh,
Very
shit, that
reminiscent
was
of the Dark
awesome.
Hole. That looks so good.
Good little clip of that, mate.
Yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic. It totally brought me back to the Warcraft movie, and I was like, I know what you're doing. You're naughty, you little fell bastard, you little tinkeroos. But it's a very cool zone, including Deliverance Point, which is going to be our main staging area. There's no quest there yet, except the crafted legendary quest, which we'll talk about shortly. Although they've just recently disabled more stuff on 7.2. But it is cool to see all the classes doing their little things. It's nice to see, except the human druid.
That's so random, but he's got the hunter bow, so I don't know if it's supposed to be.
No,
they probably won't
tier
forget.
1
Yeah,
druid.
they'll probably forgotten tier 1, so we'll make him look like some sort
maybe
of
he's just a bit of
survival
filler
hunter.
for now. Maybe he's a bit of filler. The hunters look miserable as balls, though. They just look really sad.
How chilled out do the mages look, though?
Oh, but did you see
leaning
the
on a
guy
table
reading
with
the
a book, mate.
But do you see all the like? He's got the one guy I saw was reading a book on the side of the cliff, looking really chill. But he's got like 20 books swimming around his head, like all these floating arcane books. And the monks
What a
are all
style.
having a little renaissance on the side, and the
Yeah.
one guy on the crane, who I hope gets a spitball in the face at some point. Please, Blizzard, do that.
You know it's
That would be
right.
absolutely awesome. So we did explore the whole zone. I've been down there a couple of times now. Sad to see they have disabled some of the stuff, but it looks like it's going to be very cool. We're going to get to build stuff there.
Yeah.
The whole realm's going to get to participate in that and get it all collectively done. What is nice, though, is we already have controls. So one thing we found around it is various things that gives you buffs. So the Way of Odin, we have a floating Valajar that's emitting this aura and stacks up to 5 times, giving you haste and attack speed, all this kind of good stuff.
Isn't it Valkyrie, mate?
Sure.
Call novel.
Calling me out of my lore in the middle of there. We've also had some clarifications on what's going to happen with AP. So AP is obviously changing in 7.2. As the world is being buffed, we know that. The world is being buffed. They're going to change AP. So if you have any points after 35th, they're going to refund you all that artifact power. So that's many millions of artifact power is going to be refunded to you. Now, for clarification, that doesn't mean you're losing power. Because we definitely saw some people were concerned that they were going to be made weaker when 7.2 came. What actually is a benefit to everybody is everybody's being moved up as if you had 54 traits.
Yep.
Because as you know, those traits are simple damage increases or healing increases or armor or whatever. They're going to move everybody up to that. But if you already had your 54 traits, you're going to get all the artifact power back to spend into your new weapons. Now, currently, the rest of the weapons aren't actually available yet. We can't see them. The screen's opened up to where it should be, where we're going to get all our new traits, our new golden traits, and our expanded traits. The screen size is there, like the real estate, but they haven't actually implemented that yet. But that's what's going to happen. So don't worry if you think that people with 54 traits are going to get this massive damage buff, and you're not going to be able to get back there for a long, long time. That's not what's going to happen. You're all going to get moved all the way up. We also have some new animations, which were really nice. We spent some time doing
very
some nice
surprised
cinematic
at a
stuff with the
couple of them.
animations. I think it's fair to say the druid came off the best. The balanced druid definitely seems to have come off the best. Because the balanced druid gets a brand new Star Surge, which looks like a fucking laser.
Hammer of Dawn, mate.
Yeah, it looks a bit like a Hammer of Dawn. The Ion Cannon's got a revamp. The old Fury of Elun's got a revamp. And we've also had Lunar Strike got that revamp where it now hits every target, which is wonderful for me because I think a lot of people don't realize it's supposed to be like an AoE spell. If you're a new player compared to Wrath, they feel very similar. They have similar cast times and stuff like that. So they've really emphasized that in the animations, giving them that really cool drop down. I wanted to ask your thoughts. They've changed Death and Decay. So Death and Decay is no longer the bubbling ground that we're used to. It's now this sort of almost like the Biohazard symbol in many ways.
Yeah, I see what you mean. They've drawn back the animation. Well, they've drawn back the recurring animation, but the initial splash looks very cool. And it's more subtle,
Yeah.
which is fine, but my concern is obviously, because I don't know the full extent of it, is it going to be, I don't know, lost when you're in
I feel it
a lot
might
of
get
AoE.
lost. I feel it could get lost. It's far less noticeable long term than
Yeah.
it is right now, from a purely mechanics point of view. One thing we will say is we tried this on several characters. Is there are many spells that even with your graphics turned way up, the other person flat out can't see. Like they don't exist.
We had that with the druid, didn't we?
Yeah, with the druid particularly, they just flat out cannot see the spell whatsoever. And it's something I've noticed for a little bit over Legion. I used to be able to pay close attention to what many people were doing in the raid. You could see exactly what spells they were casting. Doesn't seem to be the case anymore. And this was definitive proof because we did quite a lot of filming with them to get some nice shots for you guys. And there were several spells that you just flat out couldn't see. Again, with the Hunter. Although I want to point out when we tested the Hunter on the stream, there were lots of really cool animations for barrage and things like that. They're gone now, apparently. So whether they're going to come back, we'll keep an eye out on that one. We definitely saw them. There are also new death grips, but we can't get the glyphs. I think Bellula's got a video on it, so if you really want to see the new death grips, you can see Bellula's vid on it. But we couldn't get the glyphs, which is a real pain in the ass to see those things. Moving on from that then, 7.2 is looking to bring in the brand new raid and a brand new dungeon, which you want to get to. But we did get up close with the Tomb of Sargeras, which looks really cool. Now, I couldn't get there.
I got up close,
You
mate.
got up close
didn't.
because it is surrounded by elites. Like, they do not want... I don't even think we're going to be going through that door. It does have a portal-like entrance.
Mate, it's got a huge portal entrance, but it's covered in lightning.
Yeah,
so
I'm
cool.
taking your word for it because I couldn't get in there. I could have
true.
if I really tried, but I thought, you know what, I'm with a rogue. I'll send him in.
Unbelievable.
And see things. But you think it's impressive?
It looks beautiful, yeah. The guards at the gate, and as soon as you go through into the what's the word for it? Kind of like a reception area, mate.
The reception
area. The door is massive. You've got the whole effect of a raid behind it. But like I say, with the addition of the flashing lightning strikes that come through at the start,
Very
of it,
graphically impressive.
it's very nice. Yeah. All the area around it. I mean, even if you're not close to the tomb, with it in the distance, you still get that graphical benefit.
The good thing about Deliverance Point, which is the staging grounds, is it's very high up, purposely to give you a massive overlook. And as we know,
Picturesque,
flying
mate.
is coming in 7.2 as well. But flying, very similar to Tanaan Jungle, is confirmed. If you check the achievement, you're gonna have to do all of the zone pretty much. You have to get exalted with the new zone, similar to Tanaan, and then you're going to unlock flying, which will be account wide, etc., etc. The last thing we wanted to touch on in this video is the crafted legendary items in 7.2. Now, there are in the legendary tabs on the PTR, the legendary items are there. And you could start the quest. So as a tailor, I got the quest to start making the crafted tailoring legendaries. Now, they have come out and said today, this is the reason I'm not showing them to you here, is because the ones on the PTR are absolutely not what you're going to get. So it would be a complete misinformation to show you these things. So the ones on the PTR are just stat sticks.
Yeah.
Very good stat sticks, but they're just stat sticks. There's no procs. There's nothing interesting going on with them. They have said in a post today is like, look, they are extremely, and that is in caps lock, extremely unfinished. We haven't enabled them for testing. They've got massive changes to come. All they want to say is, yes, there will be craftable legendary items in 7.2. Now, Andy's shaking his head. You can't quite see that, but they're either going to be new ones, which I think is what they're saying. They're going to be new ones.
I'm feeling that, yeah, for your profession.
I imagine they're not going to be soulbound. I imagine you're going to be able to sell them.
I don't think they will be.
You don't think so?
They're going to be soulbound. If I ever saw a legendary on the auction house, I'd go ballistic.
But there's two ways of looking at this. One, this does make the crafting professions worthwhile, because right now they are dog shit.
Absolutely.
They are absolutely dog shit. It's been really hard for me to justify keeping tailoring on my main character. I didn't know why. Now maybe I'll want to do that, so I actually capped it yesterday on live, just in case. I imagine you're going to need cap tailoring to make the legendary items.
Oh, yeah.
The other aspect of this is, if you get the from the other side of this, if they're not soulbound and you can't trade them, sell them, or whatever, one thing I think is okay is that given the legendary system in Legion, I'm with you that like legendaries just being upped for buying on the auction house is really where we've hit rock bottom.
Yep.
If we didn't think we could do anyway, but given the fact that the Class All campaign can be finished so quickly, which allows you to equip 2 legendary items. And as we saw, even with people like our main characters that were grinding the fuck out of a lot of content, getting that second one can take a long time. I'm kind of okay with people being able to craft a legendary item and stick it in the slot, because the pool is now getting so big that getting the ones you really want, and they haven't fixed that. Let's just be flat out. They did not fix that. There are still legendaries that are flat out better than others. Being able to get that benefit, the fact that you have the option to equip 2 legendaries, but unable to get 2 legendaries, I always thought was really strange even from the start of Legion. In that respect, I'm kind of okay with it, within the context of the way the legendary system is in Legion. So I don't know what your thoughts on that. Are you just like flat out, it's soulbound, it should be something you profession
That's
for?
just me, though. I think that it should be soulbound. I think that obviously it's something that requires your profession, so that in case you got that item and then re-rolled, you can't use it anymore.
I'm thinking more like alts, honestly, but you know,
Like account bound.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe.
I'm just thinking if you've got alts and the alt process in Legion is not that friendly. It's better now with the AP, but certainly like going on there. I mean, we talked about the other day because we've got like between us, we've got nearly 10 cap characters. Are you doing like the emissary quest every day? Not a fucking chance. That'd take like 4 hours of daily content just to do the emissary caches on them all. And that's where, you know, you're getting these big sources. And then you've got to do the mythic pluses to get the reward at the end of the week. Your chances of doing legendary eligible content is quite small on your alt characters. I'm kind of okay with the craftables within the sphere of Legion. Not going forward, but within the current situation we're in, I'm kind of okay with it.
How much do you think they're going to be sort of niche to your proficiency? Like engineering, if I get a fucking legendary headcanon, I'm probably going to go mental.
A legendary mount might be funny if it did something very cool.
God.
But they probably wouldn't want to implement something like that. But I just think within the way the system is right now, they're gonna obviously adding more to it. They've basically said that they're going to be new.
Yeah.
They're not going to allow you to craft the ones you're missing, which I think some people were kind of hoping for. It's like, can I just craft the one I'm really missing? Because there are people out there, and we know them, who have 7 and don't really have the ones they want.
Yeah.
Which is just fucking sad. It's really sad. But it looks like they are going to be brand new ones. So it'd be interesting to see where they go with it. I can see arguments for both sides of it, to preserve whatever's left of the legendary system, to not make them tradable, but also, given the way the situation is, it might be a decent system if we can just get people to equip the 2 that they've already put the work into actually getting the ability to wear 2. I think that's absolutely fine.
Do you think that might diminish the shelf life, though?
Of what?
Of just the grind, shall we say? Let's just call it a grind. It is a grind. If they allow you to craft the legendary that you want,
I think we're hitting a wall with that now. What we've seen, this is anecdotal, I can't really provide numbers for this, but in terms of the conversation, is we know since Nighthold hit, the statistics definitely show that people doing Mythic Plus has dramatically dropped.
Yeah.
Like, dramatically dropped. And that's a number of reasons. One, the gear isn't that desirable anymore. It will change in 7.2. AP isn't wanted by a lot of the Mythic Raiders, so then boost groups are starting to drop off. The guys who were like constantly sprinting through Mythic Plus, they've got 54 traits in the spec that they probably want to play more than anything and have legendaries for. So they're not that interested in doing Mythic Plus. And all this content is starting to dry up in the wake of the Nighthold, which is providing better gear. They don't really need the AP anymore, etc., etc., etc. So whether or not this is going to help out more of the casual player base, who was basically, a lot of people were openly saying, at least in our chats and on forums, that they were kind of hoping for Raiders to just keep running them through content, pretty much. You know, the people were more than happy, and I'm sure you've seen it in your realms, to go onto the pre-made system and literally say, here's my key, boost me, please.
Yep.
Lots and lots of people were more than happy to do that, to the dismay of others, but I don't blame them, and that is drying up pretty quickly. Whether this will help out those guys, and I can see it, it's like, I don't want to really run a shitload of content on my alts, and plus I don't have time. And this is the way the system is, so will it diminish the shelf life? I think 7.2 is going to be a massive injection of that. World Quest item levels are going up, as we saw in the previous video. The Legion invasions are coming in, as well as new dungeons. Heroic Karazhan, 2 tiers of that. Heroic Archway, Heroic Court of Stars. The world's getting more difficult. So I think they've nailed it. I think shelf life's going to prop up. I think it'll dry up a little bit till 7.2, and then it'll kind of pop back into life, is where I see it. All right, guys, so there's your 7.2 info for now. That's pretty much everything we know. There's more stuff coming next week, so we'll be back on the PTR then. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.